All right. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. I am looking at my audio and making sure that the damn thing is working because it was not before. And I did about an hour and a half worth of talking to nobody, basically practicing. So, hello. This is Chris Tome. I'm with StreamCatcher Society. We are a professional organization that is building towards something amazing using Web3 technologies, NFTs and blockchain and ownership and all of the things that are coming in one way or the other, whether we like it or not. And I am going to be spearheading building a group and launching a project around that membership that's going to be a huge ask and a huge give as well. We're going to be at 1.2 million launch when we're ready to launch finally, but we're going to get to know you guys for a good 6 months or more before we launch that project. And we're doing other stuff in the meantime. We are working on a project called Ethereum with another group, Cristiano. Hey, Cristiano. That is his name on Twitter, at Hey Cristiano, and it's at Expert Advice WTF. We are working with them to do the Ethereum project, and I'll talk about that later, maybe in this episode, or focus an entire episode on it because it's really worth taking a look at. So I have been working for the past couple of hours trying to figure out the companion software to run my Stream Deck XL and run the macros properly. And I had it working before, but I'm not able to work it for some reason right now. So we're not going to do the picture-in-picture, which is like all of this stuff, is set up for. So I've got the ability, of course, to switch and do everything I need to do. And our audio is on, so we look like we're good to go. And we're just going to go ahead and start diving into AI art and what it is. Okay, so I'm going to take a little drink there. AI art, in its most technical form, is, of course, the creation of imagery using artificial intelligence, neural networks, generative adversarial networks, whatever you want to call it, to create images. So, and now to create videos and soon to create 3D objects and everything else. So you're entering a text prompt into a program or a web page or whatever it might be that's accessing usually a graphics card, and NVIDIA card is what almost all these things run on. Go NVIDIA. AMD, come on, guys. But anyway, so it's running on NVIDIA cards, and you're basically renting GPU time. And these GPUs render out these images, and they are fantastical. Some of them are quite amazing and quite incredible. So there's a number of GANs out there. There's a number of ways to achieve this. And hold on just a second. There's a number of ways to go about this. There are applications on iOS and Android like Wombo Dream, and Midjourney actually just put out their own app, their own mobile app. But the desktop and more web browser-based GANs, things like Google Colab, if you're into scripting or doing Python or doing any more, some people are doing mathematical equations and different things with some of this AI art. But most people are typing in creative words, things, styles of other artists, things like that. So there's a number of AI art software that I'm personally using. I'm using Midjourney, and I'm using DALL-E 2 and Dream Studio, and then more so than any of those right now, I'm also using Stable Diffusion, and I'm running that locally. So let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. Okay, so right now I'm on my MacBook Pro, as you can see, and I'm running a copy of Screens Connect, and I'm dialing in VNC. I'm tunneling into another computer in my office. It's an AMD Ryzen running a RTX 3070, and we're running an application called NMKD Stable Diffusion. So what this is it's a GUI that was written by a guy named Noomcrad. Shout out, Noomcrad. He does not like crypto bros, so be careful. But he is coming out with a new version, 1.6, and I'm kind of glad about that because I started I guess I don't know when he started, but 1.4 was where I jumped on board, and I paid him a few bucks. Appreciate the software and the development. And we got to 1.5, and I think things kind of broke. The inpainting wasn't working right, and I wasn't really actually able to reinstall 1.4. Didn't have time to mess with it. I could have probably, reinstalled the whole thing, because this is all this machine is running right now. So, but anyway, so 1.5 came out, and I've been using the heck out of it, of course. It's got amazing capabilities just even built into this little interface. And of course, you wish things could always be better, in painting, things like that. I mean, I'd love to have, the ability to actually bring in alpha masks or something as in paint, masks and that kind of stuff. That would be great. But we can go over a couple things in Stable Diffusion in a little bit, but I just wanted to go over a couple of other things that I'm using. So this is Midjourney. This is the web interface for Midjourney. And the actual interface for Midjourney is you access it through a web browser. So in this case, you use the / command, and you have some different things like info and show and imagine, which is the main prompt, settings, things like that. So if we, for example, type settings, you can see that there is quite a few settings in here. I should probably switch my camera. There's probably quite a few settings in here. So you've got Midjourney version 1, 2, 3, Midjourney test photo, which I have not tried yet. That's interesting. So you can, I believe, can you turn? Yeah, okay. So you set one of these by default, but you can actually change it if you do like version --V and then space and then do a 1 or 2. You can change that. Some things don't work with other things. You'll find that you have errors in the script, that it says invalid parameter is what comes up, and that means that, this scale didn't work with this stylized number or something like that, or you missed a dash, something like that. So Midjourney, so let's see, half quality, base quality. We have fast mode and relax mode. Yeah, that is one of the things about all of these, basically, is you are renting GPU time. So when I first got Midjourney, I bought it about 5 months ago, and I started out on I think the $10 plan, and that lasted like 5 minutes, and I said, oh, okay, I need a $30 plan. Then I went to the 50, and I realized, I think 3 times in, I realized, oh, this is GPU time, because the way they made it sound initially was that you were getting unlimited time and all this other stuff. But there was no, I was going so fast, I didn't even realize about relax mode and all that other stuff. So I was running out of fast time. And in all honesty, I mean, being in relax mode is not fun, because when you're used to instant gratification, which we'll get to in a little bit, the relax mode is kind of, I'm going to serve it to you, and I have a free GPU, and maybe also I've had images come up a day later. I mean, literally, they pop up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was, I put that, I asked for that upres a day ago. So anyway, so those are, these are some settings that you can have in Midjourney and change different things. And once you find out what they do and what they are, you can, like Remix is a new one that they just added, which allows you, when you do the variants, to actually remix the prompt and even include another URL into it while using the variant of the image. So lots of combinations and possibilities, and that's, the fractal nature of software, I guess, or the chaotic nature. So we've got those, and right now I've got this set on all this. And if I'm probably going to take this off, but I don't know how to do remix. It's probably dash remix, but I'd have to take a look. But anyway, so you can do aspect ratios, you can do different stylized qualities, up beta, and a lot of it is just hit and miss. A lot of it is experimentation, and I'll show you right here. So in Midjourney, you get, when you generate the prompt, so food court on Noah's Ark, somebody told me about that, lights of eternity at the edges, styles of sleeve from ArtStation, artist, ArtStation trending, elegant, ornate, and so go on and on, up beta, and then I have 2 up betas in there for some reason, sometimes when I copy and paste. But basically, so it gives you the 4 up, and if I want to up-res any one, I can take a look at these up-resed. That's kind of cool. If you ever needed more modern kind of government building, you could up-res that and just cut that out and use it. It's kind of an old river kind of scene with wild clouds. It just does some crazy stuff, and not at all, what I wanted. But sometimes it's fun, and you save it, and save the 4 up so you can 6x up-res these in Topaz Gigapixel, and you can get a really clean HD image out of any given square. So not as much detail, of course, but definitely clean. These are robots I ran through actually earlier in the presentation that I was giving to myself because the audio was off and I deleted it. But these were robots. Let's see, where the starter images. You can run things back through and remix them. And let's see. Yeah, so like this. You see how it's got this nice clean line style and everything else. This was actually run back through. Started out as a different image. Let me see if I can find. Started out as an image. It started out as an image more like this, where you had, kind of grainy, dirty detail, which is cool. It's definitely a nice look. But it's for a cartoon or whatever. It's not finished enough. It's not hard edged or hard lined enough. You'd have to cut these out, do strokes on them, whatever. But when you run it again through the GAN, and all we did was change it from Pixar robot style to Pixar Wall-E style, the new remixes seem to actually be getting better color gradation, better shape and form. And we're actually getting some lines here that have some line weight and different things. So I'm definitely going to try some cartoon styles out on these. And then this was something else that we did in the video that I deleted, which I was loving how this kind of looks like a thick paint texture. It looks like it's actually paint built up on the surface. So you can pull this out in Photoshop, and you could desaturate it to pull out the colors, because a lot of colors tend to be really, I said colorful, but they tend to be blown out colors. And if that's what you're going for, great. You can even amplify that. But you could make that a grayscale and do different weights. You could extrude it in 3D. You could do all kinds of stuff with it. So it'd be really cool to check out. Oh, let's see here. Get rid of this. And so one of the things too is that if you're on your mobile or if you're on your desktop or whatever, you can use the Discord app to access all this. But I find it tends to work better even on mobile. If you have Safari or whatever open, Chrome or whatever, and you have your personal, your page up, your website up, and then you have your Midjourney, you have your Discord server up in another web page, because it just makes it easier to access things. So for example, like this one, I'm going to up-res it, but if it was already up-resed, what I would do is I would take it and I would click on it, and then I would say open original, open it in a new tab, and I would save this, and then maybe, bring it in and do something to it. So, and that's the thing too, is that once you get to a certain point, managing all these files becomes very interesting. I've got folders and folders and folders full of different things that I've rendered out for parts and pieces, conceptual ideas like these robots. I mean, what great ideas to come up, because these are your ideas, I mean, this is, yes, robots in the style of Futurama TV show, cartoon character concept art. But these are the kind of things I kind of was thinking about, but yet they throw stuff around in ways that I not necessarily would, but there they are, and they're mine to have and use. And, I'm paying these psychotic little artists to do this, and I love it, and it's fantastic. And I'm very inspired by it. I'm very inspired by it because it's a different way of kind of linking to your creative imagination. So as an artist who does draw and paint and all that other stuff, to ignore this as a tool is just at your own peril. This is we turned this into tropical fish. This was very interesting. Earlier today, I was showing an example of this This was one rendering of quite a few that I've got that are beautiful. Let's maximize this out for a second. Reload that. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so I didn't look it back up, but these images, this started out. Yeah, this started out as a very different image as far as the color and shape and different things, but we moved it on and pulled it through a few things and then started turning it into tropical fish. And it started turning it into that. So we did a what is it? I'm sorry. We did a rerun on that. Basically, it's just rerun the prompt. And it tends to, I think, make things a little more complex. At least that looks like that to me. It tends to try and get your prompt a little bit more. It makes it look like at all the reef elements. I mean, you could easily cut those out and make those sharper, paint them. But all these things. So if we do we'll do a re-roll on that. Re-roll. Thank you. Re-roll. Thank you, brain. We'll do a re-roll on that, and then look at a couple more of these, and it's not like this. What did I say here? Let's look at this. Tropical fish in the style of Art Germ. Okay, influenced by Tim Burton. So that might be even a little too much. So I could take that down, and change the style to anybody, or just leave the style completely out of it. In fact, we could try that. Let's see. Let's go up here and see if we can make another variation right here. Yes, we can. Okay. So beautiful colors, stained glass. Okay, so let's try. That's not the right one. Let's try to variate 2. And then we'll take out the styles altogether. So for me, one of the things I like, definitely there's styles that you look at, as an artist. You say, oh, I love that style. I'd love to be able to paint and draw like that. But I think if you're trying to do styles and you're trying to completely mimic somebody's style to the point where somebody wouldn't be able to tell that it wasn't Art Germ or whatever, that gets a little into, get a little bit of your own style at least. So to me, what I do is I will try and mix different artists and different styles to get a blend of something, and then even rerun those images if I really like them or whatever, rerun them through again, maybe even another different GAN with different prompts or different weights to even alter the image further and make it look less AI. And then you bring it into Photoshop and then fix it because there's lots and lots to fix. So we'll get into that as well. But, just beautiful imagery. You can see the colors and the shapes and the forms that this makes is really neat. Let's go ahead and I'll show you a couple of bottles from our theory run project. Now these are raw, so they're not going to be edited or put into the form that the NFTs will be in. They're going to look like cards. They're really cool cards, and we're going to do some physical ones as well, digital cards. But we've got all kinds of crazy bottles. Everything's from these kind of crazy coin bottles. Oh, come on. With weird shapes to, let's keep going down. We've got quite a few ones that look very bizarre, almost like pineapples or something. Very, very pretty ones. But, you can do so much with blending these or just using these for 3D inspiration. We can make a lot of bottles really quick in Cinema 4D with a thing called, oh gosh, I am having one of those days. It is called Volume Builder. Yes, Volume Builder and Volume Mesher. It is awesome. It allows you to basically, it's like a super, super Boolean tool with subtraction, addition, division, smoothing, all kinds of different things that you can add in layers and take things away, and you can build very complex forms very easily. So very cool tool. And these are neat and just definitely different. And then we have some more beautiful ones because we don't want to be all crazy with the pirate skulls all the time. Although I do have a lot here. I have to generate a lot. And that's the thing I've done a lot in relax mode as well. Okay, so now we're getting into some, really. Oh, come on, there we go. And I even added, I've added ones that I said growler bottle, and it put in the little handle. And there's some tops that are better than others. So what my plan is that we'll be taking the images and creating almost if you think of the Bored Apes, where you have a generative art collection that basically consists of a lot of different Photoshop layers that are turned on and off via script. We kind of are going to do that with different series of bottles that we're going to create, but they're all going to be unique, which is going to be really cool. So I think people are going to really dig the bottles, and we've got more down here. Let's see. We've got a lot of bottles rendered. Just really cool ones with kind of alien life forms in them. It's really interesting. But again, they need to be cleaned up, sharpened, painted on, everything will be hand touched and hand edited, because that's what makes the difference, I think. But, hey, there's a lot of beautiful AI art out there. I'm not dissing anybody for not doing it. I just would challenge you that if you are into doing AI art and you're creating great things with the text prompts and everything, I hope that you will hit a wall, and at one point you will say, what next? And that hopefully you've made enough money where what next is maybe an iPad Pro and an Apple Pencil, or, a nice computer, and you start to really dive into how files work, and DPI and resolution and file formats and layers and all the other fun things that await you to make you a better artist, because this should motivate the heck out of you to want to do more, not to want to sit on your butt and just generate stuff for the sake of it. I think that will probably not last too long, ultimately. Why am I? There we go. So, you can see really cool stuff. Anyway, so we'll get off the bottles and back to the Midjourney stuff. So, yeah, we can go and remaster these. We can re-roll the prompts again, up 1 through 4, being 1, 2, 3, and 4. Is upres, and then variate. So if we do a variant here, it's going to ask us for that reroll prompt again, and I'll just go ahead and do the same one, and it will start another prompt. And so if I go to info here, for example, it has to think about it because I've done so much to it. Okay, so we can see here we're up to 25,139 images. So, and that's in Stable Diffusion. I'm sorry, Midjourney. That's in Midjourney. So we've done some stuff in DALL-E, and we've done some stuff in Dream Studio as well. Not a ton. We've used it to kind of pull images from other GANs and pull them in and use them that way. Some stuff has worked out, some hasn't. But what we've really had a lot of fun with lately is Stable Diffusion. So let me describe what's going on here before I fill you in on all this. So what you were seeing on the screen there is an AMD PC. And it's running Stable Diffusion on an RTX 3070 NVIDIA graphics card. And the program I'm running is called NMKD Stable Diffusion GUI. So going back to take a look at that. I'm tunneling in to that machine with my MacBook Pro via a program called Screens Connect, Screens and Screens Connect. It's a VNC program, and it allows me to go in and control everything on the machine as if I was sitting in front of it. So we were generating some of these images to look at for the last video, so we can take a look at some of the stuff we got. This one was funny. It looked like she was being punched in the face. But the headset looks really cool. I like the way this came out. That looks really, really nice. So again, when you're thinking about the image, when you're looking at it for parts and pieces, it becomes a much different story, because something may look like crap, but there's a part that looks great, or something's right in perspective, or that jacket lapel looks good, and then you get messes like like some of these. Well, that one's not too bad. But we have ones that go, far afield because of the settings that we're trying and different stuff. And with Stable Diffusion Local, of course, running my own graphics card, it is definitely the cost of the machine and all that. But once you have it and you are running it locally, you're talking about being able to do this for free. So effectively, I sit here and work on some prompts and different things, and I'm working up towards actually getting to the point where I can go in here and you can see the prompt. Actually, you can see all the prompts here that I've generated for quite a while. And you can go back and select any prompt and load it. And then there's also the prompt queue, where you can go ahead and cut and paste a text file into here. That's, I believe it just has to have the return between each prompt, but I'm going to find that out for sure. But you can, throughout the day, you can, as you think of prompts, you can write the prompts in a note file or whatever, and at the end of the day, you can pop them in all here. And I'm hoping that I can set as a number for each set of, a set of images for each prompt, so that I could do 10 or 50 or 100 of each. But it's very cool that you could do that and set your prompt queue up and do all kinds of images. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm simply spending the evening, watching some TV with Stream Queen and hanging out, and I will find something that's kind of working for me in the settings and set it to render out 250. Is that what it's at right now? Yeah, 220 images or something like that. And when I come back in the morning, it'll, usually, depending on my settings, it might be done, or 150 images in, or 110. And so my folder's full of stuff like this right now, which, as you can see, we're doing plays on the high-tech necklace thing. I'm trying to work in what's called in-painting. So we can take a look at that right now. Actually, if I reset the mask, and we'll go ahead and instead of high-tech necklace, let's say, let's change her hair. Let's see if we can change her hair and put some mask around it. No, I'm going to be using a mouse to do this, so I'm not going to be great at it, but let's go ahead and let's do, okay. Let's do long, flowing, blonde hair. Okay, so one of the things about in-painting that I'll show you maybe today or sometime is that it's kind of hard to get angles and things like that and get it to do what you want when you're just putting a shape out and saying fill in this area. So I'm hoping that this one's going to be a fairly easy prompt as far as I'm telling it to just put in hair, and hopefully this will work fairly well. But what we're doing here is we've got the init image strength, so we're going to take that init image strength down because we want very little of the image showing through. So like 0.1, and then the amount of images to generate doesn't matter, just leave it at that. Some people would probably be anal about it and say 1, so we'll just change it to 1. And then if you can see here, barely, there's a little checkbox. We check that for masked in-painting. And so the image basically is this image that we're using. And we're going to go ahead and instead of 320, we'll pull it down to, I'll say 200, and stylize at 9. We'll keep it at that. And we'll keep the seed there too. So once we've got that, we'll go ahead and hit generate. And it's going to bring this image up that we can then in-paint. So I'm going to bring it up a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and bring this down. And then we'll go ahead and we'll just paint in here. Like we would think hair would be right there. Go down. Really give her a big mane. It's going to take me just a minute. So yeah, what we're doing is we're basically making just a mask. And it would be a heck of a lot easier to be able to make these masks very simply and easily in Photoshop or whatever, and be able to load them here. Be a nice implementation to have. But just going to do something there. I got to get around here. Fill in some there. And I'm not going too detailed. Normally what I do is on my big studio machine, I have my Welcome Touch 24, and I'll bring the Screens Connect window down onto the touch, and I can actually use my Welcome tablet to paint over VNC. And it's nice and fast, so no problems. You can see it kind of skipping here with my mouse, but it's more the mouse than anything else. Okay, so now we've got that. We can adjust the blur amount and blur it in or out more. So I'll just bring it up to about probably half and then hit OK. And so now that is going to load Stable Diffusion, the CKPT file 1.4, which is what we're on. And once that happens, we are going to have an image rendered. So that's going to load. And you can see this is hot. And so, yeah, you can access your folder from here. Excuse me, get a drink. You access your images folder from here. And there are settings up here that you can take a look at, like with post-processing. We have upscaling. You can see we've got disabled 2x, 3x, and 4x. So I've got mine set to 4 because I'm a data whore. Face restoration, there's 2 different kinds. The GFP GAN is what had been shipping, and then he added Code Former, and I'm not really familiar with them, but I put that on and I cranked them both up. So that definitely may not be the best solution. I don't know. You're getting so many variations at this point. It's just ridiculous to try and figure out, what the heck's going on anyway. So you can see where we are cruising up on that blue bar. So that should be coming out soon. And then we have the developer tools, which I'm not going into. That's more command line stuff. And the installers, you can install and reinstall it. And then the logs and your other settings, which is where I was going to say the other day. You've got low memory mode for GPUs with less than 6 gigs of RAM. You've got the full precision renderer for VRAM heavy. Now, I had this turned on, but I turned it off because I didn't see much of a difference. So unload model after each generation. 1.5 was giving me a lot more problems without this on, so I turned it back on. It takes a while to load that large CKPT file, but this one, but it's probably better at this point. He did say that he's coming out with 1.6, so I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. The image output folder, it tells you where it is. There was another one. Oh, yes, advanced mode. Unlock higher values for sliders. So when you turn this on, you're able to go up to higher levels in both your detail and your creativeness. So they were limited before to a much lower range. I forget what they were. So just turn it on and crank away. Okay, so that is the stable diff GUI. And again, I think we probably already got an image out. What are we looking at here? Let's see. Let's get my mouse. I actually have a mouse. I forgot. Okay, come on, keep going down. Okay. Yeah, so this is what I was saying. I'm having an image. I'm having an issue with the way that the in-painting is working on this. As you can see here. Okay, well, that's better. That's doing something at least. Okay. So, yeah, you can see we got a face sticking out here. And see, I can say this. Let's change that right now. It's supposed to be able to put bracket, people, humans, anything else. I have no idea how this works. Because of the syntax, again, I have to look it up. I've looked up some stuff and I haven't been able to find it. I've looked up other things. I've been able to find it, like these brackets. And Doc Wu has been a pal that's been helping me out. Thank you, Doc Wu. So let's cancel this out and reload that puppy with those brackets in place because I didn't need a face growing out of her face. But look at that face. It's beautiful. Look at the well done lips. You can fix the nose isn't bad at all, but you could just easily fix it or change it. And then the eyes, it gives you great structure and framework to do different things. then there's you can go to the free sites that are Creative Commons images, and you can photo bash. You can take people's eyes and composite them in. You can put faces on body faces on heads. You can put faces and heads on bodies. You can do all kinds of different things. So having the ability, even in Procreate, I mean, one of the things about Procreate that people don't know is that if you're going to do it at like high resolution, you're much more limited in layers. But you could effectively do it, a nice image at like 150 DPI. I have 5 or 6 layers to work with on an iPad Pro, and be able to upres it afterwards in gigapixel or something. So there's that. So yes, my wife is texting me. Yes, I'm on, dear. I hope that you can find me. Yes. Let's see. Make sure I can send her a link. So there we go. And this video has been removed by the uploader. Oh, okay. Where's my other one? Okay. Excuse me for just a minute. Okay, I'm going to have to okay, copy the link, and go down there here. I have to make sure to share the link myself. Okay, let's try that. Excuse me, pardon me, everyone. Let me make sure I'm up. Yes, I am up and live. And that's good because I can turn my volume down on this, and I can see the live chat more easily, which is good. So yes, we are live. Okay. All right, so we have, make sure I'm still up with all my audio and everything. Yes, okay. So we have an example of that we're going to try now to remove the people, humans, and anything else part, and we're going to hit generate. And hold on. Let's see here. Generate. Oh, I don't want the installer. How do I get the installer? Generate. Okay. And there we go. So, yeah, if we look at this, I keep saying so. I need to stop saying so. If we look at this, the hair, it does better. It definitely does better. Now, we're at creativeness of 9, or creativeness, the guidance scale at 9. Maybe if we took it up or if we took it down, you never know. It's one of those hit and miss things. Sometimes you take 3 or 4 different images, and you'd be hard pressed to guess which one did what. You'd think that, more cohesive or more creative, it's going to maybe be more messy, and then it gets it right. So it's very, very hit and miss. You have to really work at it and find things and write down seeds and guidance scales that you can use. And to that point, if we go over to here for a moment, we can see an example. Is this the A2? Yeah, my Stream Deck, the thing that isn't working. We go over to lexica.art, for example, and we'll take a look at this. So this is a search engine for stable diffusion. And can you search for more? No. It wants me to upload an image. Okay. And we can search by image relevancy. come back. Oh, no, don't do that. Oh, I hate trackpads sometimes. Okay. Let's reload it. And view. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay, that's what happened. Okay, so Lexica.art is a search engine for Stable Diffusion. And as you can see, there's a wide range of very inspirational things you can look for and look at. Like this, for example. This is very interesting. It's got a very nice technical drawing kind of style to it. So let's see. What's the prompt? Concept, sketch, and art. Wow. So sometimes you get more detailed and complex with your prompts. It can work to your disadvantage. But this is great because it allows you to see different things and see, as you can tell, these are images all generated from the same prompt, and they're all wildly different. But you can take the prompt here, you can copy it, you can copy the URL of this image, this page actually, and you can see the seed and the guidance scale that it was used to create the image and what size it was created at, pixel size. Excuse me. So the pixel size, 512 by 512 at 72 dpi. When you're using services for Stable Diffusion, DALL-E, things like that, let's go ahead and make sure I'm telling you the right information. So I can never find DALL-E 2 again. There we go, OpenAI. Okay, so if we just log in. Yeah, so running Stable Diffusion is great. It's using open source tools that you can find on GitHub, like the image upresing capability, some of the image, the facial stuff, and again, it's free. Once you download the software and you have the proper graphics card to run it, you can generate these images all day long. And depending on the settings that you're using, they can happen very quickly. I'll definitely show you that in a moment. But yeah, DALL-E 2. Let's see, what was I saying? We were looking at. I forget what we were going to look at. So there's DALL-E. Oh, darn. There's DALL-E 2. And if we go to my. As you see, I've got 167 credits. And then there's outpainting, which I've tried a couple of times. And I did a couple of decent things. I expanded an image out to where I wanted it to. So that's good. And it's interesting, but I'm not thrilled with DALL-E 2 as much as some of the other stuff. I really like the I really like the mid-journey effects I'm getting, and with Stable Diffusion I'm able to really find and tweak certain aspects. These actually are Stable Diffusion images that were brought into DALL-E and tweaked. So anything you see in these GANs that I'm going to show you isn't necessarily, see, these are outpainting. These are outpainting fails here, the first times I've tried outpainting. But anything you see in these GANs isn't necessarily a full-blown output from the GAN itself. Some of these are imports of images. They're randomized, like these Joker ones. They're brought in from Stable Diffusion. And I believe that actually a couple of those Jokers may have actually been run through Midjourney as well. This one, if I find that, yeah, this one gave me a couple of good pieces that I was able to describe to fill out an image of a robot holding a gun that I didn't have that part of the image, and I was able to outpaint it. But I've seen outpainting that blows what I've done away. So I need to figure out exactly how that's done. Yeah. So, oh, these are cool though. I came up with an idea. So I'm putting it out into the world. It's mine. It's Soul Sucks Coffee. And I just thought I'd try and do some logos, and see what it could pull off. And for sure, I love some of the stuff that I came up with, and I can use pieces of it to create different logos. But I mean, it's amazing what you can pull off with AI and how you can iterate and just being able to offer. Typically, when I would do an ID for someone, I would offer them 10 or 15 what I consider roughs, which most people would consider high comps, but rough designs of identities. 10 to 15 would be about my minimum for a real identity program. This allows you to iterate where you could create hundreds. I mean, within a couple of days, you could create multiple variations of things and just make them so cool. And this is, a joke company, Soul Sucks Coffee, riff on Starbucks and kind of, turn it the color of the Starbucks logo and do some different riffs on that. I love doing merch and other stuff like that people like. So, just trying different things. And again, it's going to be, it's a game changer for the speed with which you're able to iterate and create. And, these are DALL-E. These are straight out of the DALL-E GAN. So I was pretty impressed with the way they handled a graphic style. And you can see round circular logo element with coffee beans and skulls in a graphical style. So it wasn't, I didn't say Soul Sucks Coffee, you do have to, creatively write down what you want, I think. And then if you're not going to translate it immediately, but then creatively write down what you want and then translate that into robot speak. How would a robot understand what you're trying to get? And that's an art form all in and of itself. But I think it's so cool. It even did like the coffee cup with the cappuccino foam and that kind of thing. It's great. It's so much fun just to be able to see what it comes up with. And it's pulling from an amazing amount of data already, but as they move forward, lots more. And these were maps I tried to generate in DALL-E. As you can see, this says photorealistic old pirate map of Florida and the Caribbean, laying on a table. So, yeah, that's not what I was looking for. And that didn't give me what I wanted at all. So that's kind of the closest it came, maybe, landmass wise. Nothing in the realm of usable currently for something like that. So these things are getting better. I mean, that's the thing, is that somebody's going to sit here and say, oh, Chris, you're wrong. Tomorrow they'll watch this video and go, oh, Chris, you're wrong. I got this done yesterday. And look, Florida, on DALL-E. And it's like, okay, well, it must have learned that, or, I'm doing something wrong. Because when you try to do things and they don't tend to work out, you consider them limitations until you find out otherwise. And I'd love to be proven wrong. These were interesting. I came up with some little characters of little girls in biohazard suits standing on a rock, and because the faces weren't paramount, that being, those being the two operative words, I believe, it did a really good job of making it very realistic. And being able to composite these into some of the other images that I'm working on that I've pulled through Midjourney and Stable, that kind of thing, is going to be really cool. And then these images were created in DALL-E, from a Midjourney image, which looked similar, but not like this. Actually, is the original here? Let's see. Is that the original? I don't think it is. I think that's a variation. So, but I've tried different styles of kind of old space kind of pulp. I think, what did I say here? Alien weapons facility, oh yeah, okay. It gave me a kind of a 50s style, like a Pulp Fiction kind of look that I wasn't necessarily going for. This is an old rendering I did in Lightwave 3D of loops and I was just trying to bring it in, and ironically, it didn't do anything to it. What was the prompt on this? I did have a prompt on one of these, and it didn't do hardly anything to it. It just changed colors. And this was from a logo. Ooh, melted my logo. This was from a logo design I brought in that looked really cool. And oh, that's kind of neat. Did kind of like a weird squid thing. Some of these I haven't even seen. These are faces that, let's see. Android cybernetic connections and seams joining the other skin. Just weird random stuff. And it's like, look, the iris here is square. So it does wild things. And I love it. It's like having a great team of crazy people on staff that don't complain or take breaks or anything else. More little robots. Started out the Timmy South Park style in Midjourney and brought into here. And I mean, just wow, you know? I mean, this is from my words in Midjourney to Timmy the robot, which I'll show you maybe if I could find it, into another GAN, into DALL-E, that made something really different. In fact, let me see if I can find that real quick. Is it under? Oh, these are some of the bottles that I'm working on for Theory Rum. Very cool. Is it under cartoon? Under South Park. All kinds of fun stuff. Yeah, so something like this. I think it was very similar to this image. Was brought into DALL-E and turned into these. So, you know, just even sliding between AI art programs with different starter images, remixing and doing other things so that you're blowing apart the pixel information. You're still getting really cool stuff, but it becomes even harder. You know, once you clean this up, and you could see it's got the fuzzies, it's got the sharp edges where there shouldn't be, you know, that needs help. But to start with, you know, just iterate, fast. So I'm working on workflows in Photoshop and different techniques that I need to, you know, bone up on and get better with. But it's just incredible what you can do with these tools, and I am so impressed. You know, like this just gave me a really cool idea to do folded origami style. So I might see that in the feeds if anybody is watching my video at any time soon. So let me see here. I probably need to go over to YouTube and check out the feed. Let's see. Go over here and see the link right there. Okay. Cool. I have the chat up. And I'm going to go ahead real quick and post that link to Twitter. So it's the easiest way to do that. I'm going to go ahead real quick and open my messages. So yeah, I have been playing with AI art for, gosh, a good 8 months now. I started out trying to dig into some Google Colab notebooks. And the problem with that was that it didn't seem like it was all that difficult, but I take everything in my life at this point, because of the things I have to do, I take everything on a basis of how much time is this going to take me to learn it? And how important is it, you know, in the overall scheme of things? Like that Stream Deck switcher there, I thought I had it handled, but obviously I don't. I have to still get online and do my thing, so this is what you get. As far as what I was saying, yeah, you know, how much time do I have to any given thing? So I bought a Colab subscription for $9 a month. I canceled it, and yes, Stream Queen, I canceled it. And I went and found another starting out, it was one of the earlier ones called Night Cafe Creator, and I started in that, and I made some cool images. I made some cool stuff in it. After a while, I was really tweaking what very limited capacity it had at the time out, And I believe that they just got stable diffusion capability. So it's all OpenAI, open source stuff. So yeah, let me post this real quick. Hold on, copy this link. You can only do 10 things at once, right? So go to Twitter and join me live. So yeah, I'm gonna need a spotter, somebody to hang with me and tell me when I'm on, because my wife is well under the weather. She's dealing with and she's still doing all kinds of stuff, of course, against my wishes, but she's just having to take a little more time to rest and everything these days. So I'm having to do a little bit more of this on my own. So I'm going to probably need a spotter and somebody to tell me, hey, you look stupid, or hey, your audio is not on, or something like that. So yeah, okay, tweet. Okay, that's done. Okay. So we have 2 watching. It might be Stream Queen. All right. We're going to go ahead and hide Twitter here. Quit that. Do I have... I don't know, I just hid Twitter. Hide. Hide. Thank you. Okay. So back to DALL-E. As you can see, I don't have a ton in DALL-E. I could go through all of it, but I've tried knots and different things, an impossible 4-dimensional knot floating in space, rendered photorealistically. I always had a fascination with 4D knots. There was a program I used a while back called Knotplot on PC, and it was what I made those loops with, these loops, and I made it years ago. It was 2008, something like that. Just made these different kinds of loops, and this was a bigger, larger HD aspect ratio picture. And then I brought some bottles in from a theory room and different things, trying things out like that. Got an almost Rick and Morty thing going here. What did I try to do? Oh, I don't know what that was. I accidentally posted that and hit generate, and that was a link, I guess, to the, I don't even know. Yeah, it is. That's the ping file. So it just rendered that, I guess. Doing different things with curator style imagery, the curator, because that is me. I do have the experience to be able to say that. Doing old label styles, trying to figure things out visually, and just the experimentation, the paths it takes you down are tremendous. The Jolly Roger flags and different things. Right here. Those knots go, let's see. Yeah, so you can see there's various different things that, and they're not all great. DALL-E kind of is a little more literal, I think. So I've played with it. I've had fun with it. I definitely want to play with it more, but when you have stable diffusion running locally and you have to do this by credits, you kind of tend to take it a little easy. So, but I've done some cool stuff with it. I love it. It's it's all super neat. So you have dragons. Actually, this interesting about this, and I don't know why did that. Oh yes. Okay, so this went through Crayon, which is some weird little web app. It was an AI Crayon app that I just ran something through and got a dragon. And then I ran it through, I believe, Midjourney. And I used it as a reference image, just as an influence image in Stable Diffusion, and then pulled it back into Midjourney. And that's when I got these really abstract shapes like these. Oh yeah, they're at the bottom. That's right. Let's see. That's when I got these. And you can almost tell in the originals that I can pull up, they almost look like there's a Chinese dragon kind of element to them in stained glass, although there isn't. But a friend actually pointed it out that, you know, oh, was there a Chinese dragon in there? And I was like, my Lord, yeah, like 10 iterations deep, you know, back into the generation. Yeah, there was. So that was pretty cool. But, it, you know, the way it's able to blend imagery and pixel information and spit things out that just are mind-blowing to me. It's a new frontier, people. So, yeah, so go back to the home for Midjourney, and then we go back to here and kind of see what's going on. Well, look at that. So we've got, okay, so we're not doing great with that with 9. Let's go ahead and just crank this thing up to, let's go to 16, 15, 16. And we'll crank the detail down a little bit so that it goes faster. Let's cancel that, and let's reset the seed. Oh, am I not responding? Uh-oh. I think it crashed. No, there we go. Okay, good. No crash. No crash for you. Reset. Maybe it did. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. Yeah, it was hanging a little bit. Okay, so we're going to generate that out. And then we'll go ahead and look at some of the images here. And if you will bear with me, I'm going to take a break for about 3 minutes, and I will be right with you. Okay, all right. Let us see. Again, we have in the background here, we have an app running on iOS called Loop, and we're currently looking at motion graphics. So if you see anything you like, you definitely should check out the Loop app, L-O-U-P-E. There are generally barcodes and information down at the bottom of the screen, and I don't know why they're not there. Maybe if I tap this little thing, yeah. So you can see that, and you can see the name. Normally, I thought it was up there. Anyway, so we have that, and got everything else going. Everything seems to be good. I'm going to flip back over to YouTube here so I can make sure I know what's going on. And we still have 2 watching. So everybody is out on a Saturday doing something else better than this. But oh well, that's okay. All right. So let's go back to Stable Diffusion real quick and see what's going on with her hair. We have tried, as you could see, to do her hair. And we're not having the best of luck. So we brought the detailed down, the creativeness up, and we're going to go ahead and hit generate now and see what happens there. And then we can go back in and look some of the images we've got. Some of the images we've generated today. It almost has a halo kind of a look. See, you can zoom in here, move around. I can make a cool motorcycle helmet or spaceman helmet or whatever in the background, paint it in more. So many of the painters that when I was growing up, that I respected doing matte paintings and backgrounds for film and that kind of thing. I see so much of that kind of thing in some of these. I see them as wonderful underpaintings to get to the point where you're actually creating something else. And then there's, other things that are more finished that are just weird. So, look at that nose. I mean, boy, that's a nostril. So, yeah, there's that. And then let's see. There's a monocular right in the middle of her forehead. That's got to hurt. Okay. That's a really nice image. I really like that. I mean, it's clean. The face is nice. Again, could use a little more polish, if you're going to really put some detail in here and lashes and detail out the elements. We can, do that in Photoshop, of course. And some more VR stuff. I'm looking for the perfect VR headset to send to Zuckerbot, so help me out. Is it that one? No. That one? Maybe. Yeah, there it is. No. No! But see, that's not bad. That's not even a bad image overall, except this is not where it needs to be. It needs to be down there. And then her neck looks like, my Lord. And then the shoulders go off. So again, tons to be fixed, but tons to work with. Tons to work with. That's cool. Very interesting. I just love the ideas, though, that it generates and the things that you can do with it, pulling out parts and pieces. So that one's, again, she looks like she's being punched in the face, but I love the headset there. Great highlights. And, one of the things that I think this is helpful in right off the bat is it teaches you, because you know what looks good, right? And then you know what doesn't. Well, it's like, why doesn't it look good? And why does it look good? Start studying these things and really analyzing the imagery that you're putting out to make sure that there isn't something glaring that people aren't going to go, I don't like that. That overall, that's not a bad image. I would not mint that as my own artwork, but, some people might. Even her neck isn't all that bad, although it could be, pulled out a little bit more and filled in. And, but then we're playing around here with her hair. And look at this. That's kind of cool. So what we can do, and I've done this already, is, take the hair, take pieces out and composite it in with different images that we've got of this girl, of this woman, person, say in different ways, and you can composite them together. You can actually bring them together. Just for giggles here, let's go ahead and do this. Let's take, let's go over to here. And that's in tattoo, stable diffusion, local. Okay, let's do a new folder. We'll call it comp tester. And we'll go there, go over to here. And let's grab, we're starting, start with this one. So right click there and copy. Go over to here and old eyes, paste. Okay. Now that that's done, I can hide screens and hide my Safari. What do we have an update for? iMazing. Oh, the HIEC converter. Yes, HIEC converter. You're like, what is that? That's to convert all those HEIC images off your iPhone. Okay, so let's minimize that. Okay, amazing converter 2 is here. I don't need that right now. Thank you. Let's quit that. Okay, so we'll go over to our big old beefy NAS that is 43 terabytes. How much available? 42 terabytes available. We're going to fill that puppy. All right, so home, NFT, stable diff, comp tester. Okay, so we'll grab all these images. As you can see, they're 3 megabytes each, and they are, why I'm not getting my information here. More. No. Usually I'm getting pixel information there. That's weird because it's on the server probably. Okay, so I take these, right click and open because I've got pings set to go to Photoshop. And look what happens to be right there. Okay, so all these are going to open, and just, you know, if you look, you've got very similar faces, but not all similar. If we copy this, paste that, and then change the blending mode to, say, overlay. So close that one down. We'll grab that one again. Paste that and overlay. And let's do and you can, blending modes are just amazing, the things you can do with them. But again, so if if you find you're getting too ridiculous here, I would normally do this on a Wacom tablet, of course, but you can go ahead and let's go ahead and normal this, and I can do this with a mouse. Just kind of cut out that piece of hair. Whoops. That piece of hair right there. And give it a feather. Say 22. And then invert that and cut it. And then that way you can go in here and you can make this, part of the hair in different blending modes. You can actually, you could make it the normal blending mode, and you could go in here and erase into it when you create a mask. Like you can see, for example, you're going to have a hard edge here, even with this. So you can go and create a mask. Is it that one? Yes. Create a mask. And then when you click on the mask, you can go in and erase. With something and get rid of that harsh line right there. But yet you're still adding the hair. And, you could continue to do that and continue to blend this, the hair, take some of this hard edge away. And you could continue to layer the hair and get different effects just by using the same image, but masking part of it and getting different effects in that masked area. So that's very simple. We'll get onto all kinds of different Photoshop stuff another time when I'm set up with my Wacom tablet and everything over in the other area. But yes, I am live. Okay, just checking. So yeah, you can do a ton with just variations of the image itself and doing the masking and the inpainting. So that's a lot of fun. So let's get rid of that window. Let's see where we are with this. Okay, so did we not hit generate? Oh, come on, really? Oh, we only did one image, darn it. See, that's why I always set it to 220 or whatever, 100, 200, doesn't really matter. Hit generate, okay. So, that's not bad. You can see that it's getting a little bit more creative in its output, and it seems to be blending a little bit better. But again, you're going to have to, if you want this to really cut, through and be out, down below her helmet and have a shadow there and all those other things, those are the things that you're going to need to learn how to fix. And you can learn how to fix them. Absolutely. So yeah, NMKD Stable Diffusion, really like it. I've been working with it for a few weeks at least now. And again, depending on, if you have the hardware, which of course you've had to pay for, this is basically free or a small donation to Noomcrad, who created it. And I want to thank him again. But we are having a lot of fun with this AI art. And let's go back real quick. Let's see if I've got Dream Studio. Sometimes it's easier to go to Gargle. Okay, continue. Okay, yes, I'm in the open beta. Yes, I know. And then one of the things that sucks about this one is that I don't think, you actually have to save the history. You have to save your images. It doesn't automatically save them for you. So I've done a ton of things in this, and I have no proof. Except for I did save some of the images, of course. Let me see if I can. Find those. Oh, what happened here? Did I lose my camera? I lost camera too. Hold on. Well, that was fun. My A73 just shut off for some reason. Yet another technical issue we have to figure out. So we will figure it out. But anyway, yeah, so Dream Studio, I've not been able to get history on or anything like that. So yay, that sucks. I've had interesting luck with it. I bought some credits at 20 or 30 bucks worth, and I think I have, let's see, I have $4.85 worth left, which is about, they say about 485 generations, but if you crank it up at all or, variate, you want to do, 4 up, that's 4. So, plan accordingly. And again, these are, unfortunately, if you don't have a computer or whatever, you're probably working off the web and using these kinds of tools, so you don't have the luxury of being able to do Stable Diffusion locally or whatever. But highly encourage it if you're really taking AI art seriously. The ability to iterate is very important. The ability to do things over and over again in different ways and try different variants of something that you're trying to do to get truly what's out of your head. Don't settle, to get that, it requires a lot of experimentation. And, these tools being so new and everything and the way they're changing, they're altering so fast. I'm trying to do tentacles for a piece, and these are too close, of course. But look how cool they are, how realistic. What we got here? A background painting of the town of Bikini Bottom from SpongeBob. Yeah, it didn't know what to quite do with that. It looks like its background sets like from a movie set, which is interesting. And that's a background painting. I mean, you say background, and it's going to think of all kinds of ways that metadata can be inferred as background. So choosing your words carefully is always a good idea in life and in everything you do. But when it comes to talking to robots, you're going to really probably want to choose your words wisely. But look at those gears. There's some great stuff. And the thing is that we can get, the realistic gears And not all, you know, I mean, you got to get a little more creative or find little solutions to chop things up and make them cleaner. But you can get more realistic stuff sometimes out of Dolly, although that, you know, Stable Diffusion, I'm working on that. And then sometimes you get crazy stuff. So high quality photo of a fake human face being assembled by robots. And that's what we get. By a Chinese person. I don't know why. Go back. Thank you. Okay. So that's a little bit of Dolly. Again, you know, a lot of what I've been doing a lot of Photoshop work with a lot of this stuff, but I've really enjoyed playing with Stable Diffusion and Midjourney. I've spent probably the bulk of my time, months-wise, in Midjourney, and I was very deep in it for many months. So let's see what we've got going on here. All right. And Dolly 2. How Dolly 2 can now animate images. Look at this easy AI tutorial.
Over the world. There's no reason to panic. If you're not living under a rock, you will know that AI is super popular these days, and definitely in the world of art. With the rise of AI generators like Midjourney and DALL-E 2, you can create stunning pieces with a simple prompt or a click. It couldn't be easier. Now Paul Trillo really understood the assignment.
Wow, look at that.
AI to its fullest potential. And you
that
see, we here at
is cool.
Really love such cool effects with our small experience using
So
AI,
yeah, we are not in Kansas anymore, Toto. Did you see that the Seattle needle, Space Needle, was bending? Just amazing, though, huh? Let's see. So this is, look at that.
However, there is a solution. If you use an image of a building that is very interesting, lots of colors and lots of structure, it will work. Storyblocks to the rescue. The sponsor of today's video,
Storyblocks. Okay, it's not the sponsor of my video. So let's see. Oh, they're in After Effects. Okay. Ah. Okay. So yeah, they're doing a variation on what I just showed you in a still, but more complex. So again, absolutely. You know, you could take these images and composite them together to make one woman with long hair and, you know, all kinds of different things we can take and go back into our Stable Diffusion, of course, and exit out of there. Cancel that. And you can go ahead and reset the mask. And let's see, we could try, we'll pull something else out. Let's see. Let's try VR headset facing camera front. Oh, front, just say facing camera. Let's try that. And then go back to here. And let's generate. So we're going to generate a new mask. And we'll just go like this. Up like that. And I can't, there's no undo, so down it goes. All right, and then over a little bit. And then over a little bit here. And let's go down. Make it more like glasses, right? Bad, bad mousing. In fact, let's do that again real quick. Hold on. Okay, let's quit that and generate it again. Okay, so let's do it one more time. I'll do it better. I think with the trackpad I can do it better. Okay. Over. I'm not going to go crazy here. A little more there. Okay, let's see what that does. Hit OK. And again, what I'm doing here is I'm in painting and I'm adding elements to it, and it's trying to blend things in, and it's trying to composite stuff in. And sometimes it can do a really good job, but depending on if you do 100 iterations, sometimes it'll really come out with something kind of stunning, and you'll be like, oh, that's cool, and you can semi-run with it. But the general consensus is that, it does enough cool stuff that you're probably going to have to cut and paste and composite and blend things in and use blending tools in Photoshop or Painter or Procreate, whatever you're using, to actually blend those layers together, use layer masks and all that kind of stuff to get the layers to look good together and look like a whole cohesive image. So that's kind of our goal my goal at least in using all of these AI tools and being able to just do some amazing stuff. Again, I'm using them also to build my personal Shutterstock library, which is kind of how I look at it, which I'm building for parts and textures and different things I can put together, like some bones that I've worked on, and you get some very abstract, crazy ones, cross bones that you can cut out, which I have. I've done that already. Things that look almost kind of like tattoos of bones on an arm that you could easily see compositing over somebody's arm and making it look really cool. Then you get more Halloween style. We've got some Stargate light kind of portal kind of stuff. All these things are just fantastic starters for backgrounds and foreground elements and midgrounds and bringing all of them together. And I'm having a blast creating art out of all the things I'm creating from the AI art direction that I'm doing. So, example of a Jolly Roger, kind of a torn up Jolly Roger flag. What's my AMD is? Yeah, like a little skull kind of thing. Getting into the bones. I've got other bones that are really cool too. Let's see. And then kind of symbols and different things. I was trying different symbols for, like if we're going to create alien races and do different wars and symbols for the squid race and that kind of thing. Just playing and iterating. Crazy fish. Crazy looking psycho crazy fish. I just love it. It is powerful. Let's see here. I was looking for, oh yeah, like wings, bat wings. Come on, you can see that. Just incredible detail. And so if we look here, we can actually go and let's show the job ID on that one. So we'll go over to copy job ID, and then we'll grab. You go /show /show and then paste. Once you hit space, you get the prompt. And then we can see here we have make variations, light upscale redo, beta upscale redo, which I'm not really sure what the differences are there, and remaster. So let's try remaster. Okay, and since we're in fast mode, let's see how much fast mode I've used today on our little video. I'm holding it for really special occasions, and I know you people are special. You're so special. The one person watching, we love you. Thank you. We hope that people will tune into this at another time and be able to get some information out of it. So, StreamCatcher Society is... I've used a little under half an hour, so that's not too bad playing around. But now look at what it's doing to that one image. How it's cleaning it up, refining the lines, giving us these crazy looking things here. Wow. So one thing I've learned too, makes it a little harder. You have to go through your file folders when you download things and kind of look at things by file size, but I don't up-res everything anymore. So something like that, I'd like to actually see a variation of that before I before I do anything to it. And let's play with it. Evil alien dragon wings, sharp bone joints. Let's see. Let's just try evil alien dragon sitting on a rock. And then, yeah, let's take out the white background. And we'll submit. See what happens there. So again, I wanted to show you, how you can variate and get things going. Now, another thing too that we should talk about briefly, and I'm not going to go into all the tools and rip them apart and show you. This is kind of an overview of where I think, if you're into AI art, where you want to go, or you should be, or probably are, if you're a Photoshop user and that kind of thing. When you take an image like this, for example, we can just go ahead and see, open the original. Okay, that's pretty decent size. So let's go ahead and copy that. We'll go into Photoshop and paste it. I always like to go like that, make sure it's set. Oops. Create that. Okay, so paste that image. So now, some of the Photoshop tools lately, I mean, the new ones are just incredible. So we have the capability to grab, instead of our magic wand, we grab our object selection tool. And as you can see up here, we have select subject and select and mask. So I can select it and mask it. I'm just going to select subject at this point and see what it brings up. Okay. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Zooming and freaking out on everybody. Okay. So what this did is it gave me a cutout. And so if I cut it out, you can see, come on. Cut it out, you can see it does a pretty darn good job of getting rid of the background. So let's go ahead and fill this real quick with a color. We'll choose an orange. Okay, paste that. So you can see it has done a pretty decent job. You're going to have to go in when you are compositing these elements and clean up areas that the selection and masking, selection and cutting missed. You can do that with, when you select and mask, you can mask out the elements. You can see here that, it's actually kind of transparent. It looks kind of transparent, but it's not. So these, allow you to easily bring an image in and cut it out of Photoshop, and then you can take other pieces and cut those out, for example. And let's say you have that piece, and then you paste it. You can go ahead and do things like a puppet warp. So that's where you tap here, and tap here, and tap here, and tap here. And then you can actually move the wing around. Oops. Move the wing around if you can select it properly. And you could position it to, oh, stop. Yes, don't show again. I know. I can't select things. All right, so we can even add another one. Bring this down. And again, you get the idea. You can easily manipulate. Come on. Easily manipulate. You can easily manipulate areas. Now you don't want to manipulate them too far, stretch them too far, because you're stretching the textures and everything with them. But the idea is that you can get something much more defined, and then you could, for example, go in. Oh, keep doing that. Let's do that. Why it's not letting me undo that? Okay. So you can get much more defined, and then go in and add yourself a mask. Add yourself a mask. That one? No. That one. Why isn't it giving me a mask? Add a layer mask. mask. Yeah, that one. Thank you. And so we can see it. So yeah, once you have your layer mask, and then you go ahead and you grab your eraser, you can go ahead and erase whatever parts of the image you want and make it exactly how you want it and blend it in, and bring that image back and twist it around, put it where you want it, maybe put it behind. And you can see how easily you can manipulate and move things around. Now, I did not do that I did that just to show you how to do it, not because that's the way I would do it. But, you've already got something that kind of looks a little bit more dragon wing-like. But anyway, you can play around with stuff like that. And it's extremely powerful to be able to use Photoshop and to be able to know how to composite and do blending modes and layer masks and all those different things. But getting back to AI art. Let's see where we are. All right, not looking too bad. Let's go down to the folder. So we got one. And these are the Vinto or Vinted VR headset. That's kind of interesting, the swoop there. I love the way that the artificial intelligence, the GAN, whatever you want to call it, puts shape and form and color and light together. It's really interesting. Somebody was saying in a prompt that they wanted a giant white ball in the sky. And the reason they wanted the giant white ball in the sky was because they were looking for a reflection to happen in the spaceman's helmet. That was the core focus of the prompt, and it worked. It did. So I thought that was pretty impressive. So now she's got a VR face. Interesting. Not good. Definitely not good. See, that's what I'm talking about. Again, don't know if this is a function of the application itself or Stable Diffusion, how it operates, but it's throwing angles out. And we even said, as you can see, facing camera. So that obviously didn't work. So we could say, and it could work in other ones. I'm just going to show you real quick. It could work in other renders in the same series. But so we got, out of the one we just did, we got that, which is not done at all. It just looks like light. That, and that. So far we've gotten one usable image out of 5 or 6. Let's see. Yeah. So this is, this is compute time. This is rendering power. This is tweaking the prompts to get the robots to obey you. That's kind of cool. Looks interesting. And that's kind of got a light halo on it. Again, just when you play and iterate with these things, it takes a while to get it what it is you want. And quite often you're going to find that it's just easier to create in 3D or in Photoshop or a mixture of the two. You can spend hours and hours and days and weeks, trust me, I have, playing with these things and not getting exactly what it is that you wanted. So I gotta stop saying so. I keep hearing myself saying it. And again, neat variations on stuff. Let's cruise back up the folder a little bit and see where because we had some really good ones in here. And just so many, variants on a theme. If we look at this image, for example, and look at the prompt. So virtual reality metaverse scene, Ready Player One, style of Agnes Cecil. So, again, these are the kind of things that you need to go and look up, and we can even just stay on our PC here and say, let's Let's go to Agnes Cecil. Agnes Cecil. And probably have to put in artist. Okay. Oh, okay. So Agnes Cecil has a kind of a minimalist impressionist watercolor style. Be how I'd put it. I'm sure a gallerist would tell me different. So yeah, you can definitely see where some play was happening, adding her style to this prompt. And really, if you look at the prompt, we got Agnes Cecil with dark blacks. So, you know, if we were to run this, you know, we could potentially here, if we do this, it might be hard to find, but, you know, if we loaded it into the GAN, we could load this image, and because it still has the metadata, one of the things that's kind of hard to deal with is when you're trying to do multiple versions of the image, you're bringing it into Photoshop and PSDing it, you don't want this giant ass name. So you change the name, you put a series on it or a number that, you know, tells you what, you know, version you're working on or whatever, if you have multiple versions. And kind of gets lost in the mix, because what you can do with these, when you have the name and the metadata and everything like this, you can load the image here, and you can actually load not just the image, but you can load the entire command and the seed and all of the settings that come along with it, because it's all stored in the metadata, which is really cool. Now that's neat. I like that. That's got a cool pirate vibe to it. Modern day pirate. Cristiano, are you watching? You should be, my friend, because we've got a pirate on board. That's cool. That's pretty neat. So yeah, just let that play for a little bit. We're on 16, so we could probably crank that down. Yeah, I think we probably should, because we start to get stuff like that, and you're like, okay, guys, you're not giving me real things. Looks like she's got a head full of coins. Coins. So yeah, the GAN. Well, now why is that off? I swear things just turn off around here. Let's do some Young at Heart from Loop, the iOS app. They should be paying me money. Money. Everybody likes money, right? So, still only have one watching. One person, not one person on Twitter has shown up to watch me live. That's sad. So, and then I've got tons of whitelist interworking that I have to block out of my feed, or I can't see anything. Free duplicator airdrop. No thanks. Block. Sanctuary of Happiness. Really sad. Oh, yes. Really sad. I am reading tweets now. Yes, I'm reading tweets now. I'm just wondering why nobody is showing up to my video stream. Stream. That's okay. We're doing it for us and for the future, to build our catalog, to build information, and getting back to that information. We are going to take that down to 8.5. That sounds pretty good. And we'll crank, let's crank down the detail. And let's go ahead and even crank this down further. We're going to go to 0.05 on that. So barely anything in the image is going to be used, and only that mask area will supposedly will have something applied to it. It tends to follow its own rules. That's one of the things about AI. Don't let it take over. It's going to do bad things. So AI is very interesting. The neural networks, the things that are going on with self-driving cars, there's all kinds of amazing AI technology that is happening around us. Some of the audio and different things. My buddy Cristiano was telling me about the service he has that you can get all your audio of your voice fed in, and then basically make yourself say whatever you want to say just by typing it in. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'd like to hear how well it works with inflection and that kind of thing. But I am definitely into checking that out. And there's AI music generation now. There is AI video generation. I would love to find that. Let's go ahead and, are we generating here? Yes, we're generating. Let's go ahead and take a look at, let's see if we can find that. AI video close real time change. That's what I would search for. AI fashion tutorial. Transfer clothes between photos. Yeah. Let's see what this one is. AI fashion. Yes, here we go. Okay, let's take a look at this, guys. Watch this.
AI to make this video. Step 1, I used DALL-E to generate the outfits. I did this by erasing parts of my clothes and asking for new ones. You can see it did a really good job of matching color and lighting. I ran through tons of prompts for this and got lots of cute options, and I got some less cute options too, but I skipped over those. Oh, and you may have noticed I covered my face. I did this because DALL-E doesn't allow faces for safety reasons. Step 2, go frame by frame and generate the outfits one at a time, but this is where I ran into a problem. See, DALL-E is designed for pictures, not for video. So how could I get it to work for video? This feature doesn't exist yet, so I was stuck. But then, I discovered an AI program called EB-Synth. It lets you apply a painting style to your video. So I wondered, could it be used to paint on clothes? Step 3, try using EB-Synth on my video. Please work, please work, please work.
Okay, that's what I want. EB-Synth. So let's see if she, yeah, here, watch this.
Good enough for me. Remember, this is what my video looked like before, and this is what it looks like now. Oh yeah. Final step, apply a finishing.
Oh, I'm sorry. My audio is not correct again. So things like to switch all the time. There we go. So you didn't hear any of that. I apologize. But you got the idea. Okay. Well, hopefully you can hear that. Amazing, though. Amazing. It just, here, let's do that again real quick. Run Dane to smooth it out. Okay. And then final result. Very well done. Very nice. It took a lot of work. And those are the kind of things, you know, the people that are doing these kinds of things that are on the cutting edge are, you know, learning how to use GitHub and finding out how to install things with Python and Anaconda and Git, and they're digging in and finding out what the limits are. And I'm right there along with them. It's just so it's paradigm changing. It really is. So we are having a lot of fun. Let's see. DALL-E 2 can change your outfit with AI. Yes, we just saw that. Okay, so back to, oops. Let's see, close that down. We don't need that. Then we got Lexica again, you know, just lots of inspirational stuff. Again, looking at the, oh wow, look at that. Let's see what their prompt was. A photo of 2 stormtroopers taking a selfie in Las Vegas casino, ultra wide shot. 3.5. Why don't people put the space in there? Bokeh, blurred background, colorful lights, golden ray shot. That's another one, golden ray shot. I see a lot. I've used it a couple times. I can't tell that it does anything different. Oh, but the helmets are really good. The helmets are very nice. So look at that. Guidance scale of 12. Usually that's a little too creative for something like faces and stuff, unless you're going caricaturized. And then that's not always the case. But then the seed is very high. Wow, that's a very high seed. I wonder, we should maybe try and run this, see what happens. One of the problems here too is I'm in Mac and I'm not in Windows, so I could effectively copy this and then paste it into my Midjourney prompts, but I don't want to do that, so I'll just I'll forgo that for now because we've got other things we want to do. Let's go ahead and take a look at. Oh, geez, what happened there? Why are we all stretched out? Oh, because we're using that image. Oh. Wait a minute. Oh, I must have accidentally popped it up that. Oops. But even that, you know, stretched weird. I mean, you can do, when you're talking about patterns and generation, we could generate a couple of tiles too. When you're talking about all the different things that you can do, pushing the envelope is really where I want to be with this. Just doing really different stuff. So let's do 512 again. Somehow screwed that up. All the zooming in and out, I know. Let's see. You get some. So many to look at. I see ones I haven't even seen before yet, or seen yet. But see, like a mess, absolute mess in here. That's kind of interesting. I love the texture here on the jacket, very realistic. Got some nice hair there, but not great. I've seen way better. And they made that almost look like a poster. Look how big the lens is there. So perspective, using forced perspective is definitely interesting. Saying forced perspective or 3-point. I've gotten some interesting stuff. I've yet to try Escher type things, but I'm gonna. It's on my list. I've got lots of lists. Interesting. Again, just off completely. All these have issues that you can obviously see. But they're really cool to iterate, to think about. You could take this whole thing, you could take her face out and composite it into something else, or just even taking things like when you take an image. So we go into Photoshop and you take this image. What is that? Oh, that's that. Okay. All right. So we take this image and you could posterize it, for example. So posterize here, and you could take it down to just a few colors. And then you could blur that a little bit and vector trace it. So, and then you can do blends between these. You can pull these out. You could even do, you do a softer blend here and you vector trace it in Illustrator, and then you could take those Illustrator paths and bring them into 3D and dimensionalize them. The other thing too is that, instead of doing that, we could desaturate the image. Desaturate it so you have a black and white, and then you can adjust the exposure to get something a little more intense like this. And then you can use these kinds of images for starters for bump maps. You can extrude. You can use the hard edges to extrude in ZBrush. There's just any number of amazing things that you can do with these starter images that take them completely out of the realm of just being AI art into something that is truly your own. So I'm super excited about that and those possibilities. And again, I think that the other huge thing that this does is it allows you, when you're an art director, and I've done this, many times in my life, when you're directing other people and you're telling them what it is you want, and they come back to you you very, 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 very rarely, if ever, get exactly what it is that you were seeing in your mind's eye. You're going to get an amalgam of, somebody else's experiences and what they like and this and that. And then if it's too far off track, you say, no, that's not, good enough, or that's not right, or we need to work on this. And you come back until you reach some kind of consensus, but it's a team effort, and it becomes something that is bigger than just your vision at that point. And it's kind of like that. You're collaborating with the computer in a different way. But that doesn't mean you need to slack off and just say, oh, that's good enough, because obviously this is not good enough. So but again, too, you've got, it's really wild how like this kind of split it up into almost a comic book kind of thing. You can do very graphical things with some of the, and these are more realistic. The styles that I have gotten have been all over the gamut. These are just some of the ones I'm showing you now, but maybe we should go, I should show you some of the stuff that's hanging out there. Let's see. Let's go over here. Let's get our home folder. Is that it? Okay, so let's see. There we go. Okay. Stable diffusion. Let's see. Let's show you. We'll show you a couple of people. I'm gonna show some Morgan Freeman here. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. These are, I know you were, I knew you were going to ask, so just give me a second. Stable diffusion 1.4. This is the K Euler A, stable diffusion. So, this isn't even the PLMS, and I don't know if I did PLMS here. Yes, PLMS. Okay. So I tried it originally with the Euler, the K Euler sampling. So you can see extremely detailed, horrific face. So I don't know. I just try different things to try different emotions and expressions to see what they come out with. And because I don't want this, I don't want the same old. I don't want the same Mid-Journey girl. I don't want the same thing. And some just beautiful, beautiful renderings of Morgan Freeman. I mean, wow, things you could do with it. Just taking pieces of it, collaging and doing different things. So that's pretty cool. Let's see what else we've got. I don't want to show you too much. I've got so many things I'm holding off for my personal art launch. Let's see. Let's do sci-fi. Let's open these up and see what we got. Oh, okay. Well, that's not sci-fi. That's more Dios de los Muertos. But look at that. That's pretty cool. I've done some amazing sugar skull stuff and Dios de los Muertos, some tattoo things. I'm fascinated with people who will cover their body in tattoos. I have 3, and I got them earlier on in life, and I quit. But people who are dedicated to it, my daughter loves them. But I love this kind of stuff. This is really cool. So I did these. And trying to go for card kind of looks, for playing cards, kind of different feels and textures. And you can see that this is in-painted as well. So, we've got the... Oh, shoot. Don't like Windows. I can't tell where anything is. Okay. So you can tell we've got the matte going on because the faces aren't changing, but the borders are. So that one, I let it go nuts and took down the influence of the image quite a bit. So we get a more of an alien look. Let's see. Oh, actually, this might be another series. Excuse me. This is another series. Older woman. And again, we can go back and we can see all the prompts. This is like a space cruiser. I started out with a image of an actual cruise ship. So let's see if I can find these. Yeah, and so we're kind of getting this star cruiser look, you know, where you can take this and you can cut this out and dimensionalize it and turn it into a floating starship and add pieces to it. And if you're into compositing and doing artwork in Photoshop and Procreate and those kinds of things, the ability to just generate tons and tons and tons of your own content that you could chop up and use on the fly. I mean, look at these. They're just so cool. And again, none of them are finished to me, but they're all just amazing. I mean, some people would call some of these, not that one in particular, but some people would call some of these finished. And I get it, you know, I do. Especially for writers and musicians and people who are like, you know, that they have always wanted to do art and never could, and now they can. Anything is cool, you know, so I get it. But I think that, you know, definitely hold yourself to higher standards. Look at what's out there, try and be different from what's out there, and try and really truly mint something, you know, mint and sell and create something unique, something that doesn't. It's something that everything looks like everything, so don't get crazy about it. But I think that if you variate your style and you actually do things beyond, because like look at all these pieces. I mean, they're perfect examples. You know, I could totally take these shapes and build them out and colorize them, but they're all, a lot of times the AI does very, very washed out stuff. So if you take this, you know, an image like this and you bring it into Photoshop and you do tricks to it, which I can show you all kinds of things, you're going to be able to increase the gamma, the density, do layers on top of things, blend stuff in, make certain things sharper, make certain things blurrier, do depth of field, all those kind of things. So, you know, add little jet flames coming out here, whatever you want to do. That's where the power of this stuff is. And then you have things like Dream Booth, which running on a 3090 or better, it's going to enable you to actually go ahead and make Stable Diffusion stable. So you'll be able to take and train, very easily train with images, the GAN into knowing who I am and being able to say, you know, I want Stream in the Matrix, and it will make, you know, as Neo in the Matrix, and it'll make me Neo in the Matrix, or me as the Lego man in the Lego movie, and it'll make an amalgam of that. And it's it allows you to get consistency in your renderings that you weren't able to before with Stable Diffusion. So comic books, you know, long form kind of artwork series, storyboards, all kinds of different things are going to be possible with that now. And it's just, it is moving so fast. It's moving so fast. It's amazing. So I'm trying to keep up, and I'm trying to show you what I'm working on basically. I didn't want to get too technical today. I think we're going to try and figure out where people are, where they want to be, how technical they want to get, and definitely go into some technical stuff in other sessions and in our Discord and other things like that. As you can see here, we are not getting what it is we want out of this setting. So what are we at? We're at 8.5 and 100. So let's go ahead and let's take this down to 7. And that's the other thing too that is kind of frustrating with sliders and things like that, is that you don't really have a mean to go by. There's no real what does this do, or what Cinema 4D kind of has the same problem sometimes, where it's like, yeah, this slider only goes to 100, but this one goes to infinity, you know. So you have to learn and understand, you know, that some stuff you have to play with, random seeds, things like that. But yeah, it's kind of tough to figure out what a slider actually does if there's no real frame of reference. So building a frame of reference is very hard, because you take this thing down to 1 and you'd expect the creativeness scale to be, you know, nothing. And sometimes you'll get something that looks like a photoreal image, and sometimes you'll get something that looks like a mess. Taking the creativeness scale up way up, In fact, let's do it right now because we're not coming up with anything good here. You take the creativeness scale way up, and you would think, and you'd generally be right, that it would blow out what you wanted into some kind of creative mess because it was just too creative. And that's generally what it can do as well. But sometimes it'll just give you the perfect thing. And you're like, well, that should be at about 7. And it doesn't make sense. So making sense of these things, I don't know if it's possible. But it's a lot of fun. Are we having fun yet? See, we're having fun. Look at that. We have another camera over here. Better use the other cameras or my wife's going to kill me for buying them. Look at that. I'm in the way, or my stand is in the way. I probably want to move that camera. Maybe not. Who knows? I do have a lav mic that I want to try out, but I know it's not going to be as good as these Shores, so I'm not thrilled about trying it out, but I'm going to use it probably for being over in the studio, other studio area where I have my Wacom, because it's probably going to be easier that way. So, back to here. And let's see. That's one of the other things, too, with this app. And not to, complain to Noomcrat or anything, just one guy doing his thing. This doesn't sometimes reset, so I don't think I'm on image 4 yet. I really don't. I could be. Let's see. But I know it doesn't reset sometimes, and it should say on image 1 of whatever, and it's still in a rotation. It's like it didn't clear the buffer or something. Okay, so we got that one, which is useless. Oh, that's great. Very interesting how it shifted the eyes over. Oh, pig nose. Okay, so none of that's any good. See, it's all garbage, and that's garbage too. So we are going to delete that, because please pay attention to what you're doing and delete files that you don't need, because you think, oh, I'm going to hold on to that. And maybe sometimes you'll want to hold on to it for, some reason to show people or whatever. But if you're generating hundreds of these images, don't feel some, nostalgic reason to hold on to that, because you've got other images that, are just fine to be able to take whatever pieces you want out of and that kind of thing. Something like that you might want to save, because that, kind of has it there. But we've got a better image actually over. Is it that one? No. See, these are all just kind of garbagey. Let's see what that one. Yeah, see, you're not getting the in-painting. I believe, honestly, it was working better in 1.4, and I want to try other applications and other things. I do have this G-Risk GUI, but I'm not going to load that right now. Not that I have a problem. It's just it's not that great. This is better. You zoom in here, you can see, my text is getting a little bit bigger. Yeah, let's go ahead and maybe that's what it is. Because, see, that's another thing, too, the init image strength. I want the influence, I want the image, to be the image, but I don't want the influence at all where I masked it. So you would think it would be, you take it down, but then let's take it up and see what happens. We're obviously not getting what we want here. So ready player 1, go. All right, we'll come back to that. Going back to our mid-journey. Reload, why am I? Yeah, come on. Okay. So if I go home, now I have to get rid of that. I actually have to delete it. No. Let's reload. If all else fails, reload. Reboot, reload. Let's see what we got here. These are kind of, oh, look at that. Now we're starting to actually get fish, which is neat. That's almost a fish. But that came from these. So we're literally using our own information from the AI art that I generated here, torturing 3 different GANs in the process, to bringing it to something like this, where we can go ahead and go over to show it in Discord. That one. And take a look at that. Yeah, I mean, that's really cool. I can variate 2 and 3, I think. Let's do variate 2. Yes, same one. Variate 3. Let's say tropical fish, neon colors, symmetrical body. Okay, let's try that. You can see Redshift there. I would like to thank Maxon Tools for working with us on getting us back in and up to speed with Cinema 4D. I'd like to say a shout out to Paul Babb. Hi, Paul. Thank you for everything that you do for the 3D community. This man has been involved with the 3D space for longer than me. So that's a long time. And he has been passionate about training, about bringing Cinema 4D to the masses, to whatever masses will play with it anyway, and really making Cinema 4D just a world-class 3D application. And if it wasn't for Maxon, we'd have a lot less choices right now in 3D applications. So I thank them for that. Definitely doesn't, all the Blender heads out there, don't freak out on me, okay? I love Blender, it's great. Definitely going to cover it a lot because I've got a lot to learn about it. But I am learning Cinema right now, relearning it. It's been a few years since I was using it, so everything changed. And I'm learning Redshift, which is really amazing. And I'm having a ball with that. So in between that and all the video gear and everything that I've had to do with setting up, I have not had the time to play with Blender that I've wanted to, but it is on my list. But back to Maxon, wow, just amazing tools. Love Cinema 4D, Veronal Fracture, the Volume Builder, Redshift, all of the amazing stuff that's in there. The animation, the Mo splines, the particle effects, just incredible. There's some other plugins I definitely want to check out on, in the Maxon universe as far as plugins for Cinema 4D that are made by third parties. But the Maxon universe that you can buy, basically it's around $1,200 a year. It's not cheap, but for that you get a full-blown license for ZBrush. You get Cinema 4D. You get Redshift. You get all of the Maxon Red Giant tools. So all of the After Effects plugins, including Particular and Flow, and just a bunch of great lens flare, all kinds of different stuff. So Maxon is a great company. I highly recommend them. I have supported them almost my entire professional career. I actually gave a copy of Cinema 4D away at the last Big Kahuna Awards to my then soon-to-be wife, who won it, and instead of coming up and getting the package of software, I proposed to her live on stage in front of 1,500 screaming CG freaks. So that was fun. Blessings to you, honey. I love you, and I will be done soon, and we can do something maybe. Okay, so, oh boy, that gave her a forehead. Yikes. So I definitely want to play around with more tune styles and do different things. One of the things that I think a lot of artists struggle with, and I have struggled with it in my lifetime, but maybe not as much as others who are more into the fine art aspects or the actual just I want to do art for art's sake. And that's fine, whether you're younger and you haven't realized yet that you got to do some commercial stuff too, or whatever it might be. I have learned over the years that not having my own particular style is not necessarily a bad thing. I wouldn't mind having a style that people could point out and say that's your style, but I'm into so much and I do so many things, and I'm to screen this switcher up. I'm into so many things that finding a style and sticking with it would almost demand that I don't do a lot of other things. So try a lot of other software, do a lot of other stuff. So I tend to try to find genres that I can play in and find a style with, and then take it from there. So whether it's like a cyberpunk or steampunk kind of thing, or whether it's cartoon or photorealistic, or a special kind of 3D, whatever it is, finding your own style, I think isn't so important as finding your own consistency and your own quality and delivering something that's really good in the style of whatever it is that you're trying to do. I mean, if you're coming out with an anime, if you're coming out with a manga book, you probably want it to look like manga, so plan accordingly, right? So, all right, so that wow, I don't know why it did what it did to the forehead there, but that was disturbing. So there we go. And now the other thing too is that I can show you if we take off, let's go ahead and cancel that because it just started. If we take off the mask, make sure it's not selected. Yeah, not selected. And then run this down to about 1. But we leave the image loaded. So it's not going to do a mask. It's just going to look at the entire image, and it's going to try and put, oh, look at that. It might help to spell the damn thing properly. Oh, jeez. Okay, VR headset, front on. So maybe that will fix that. Let's try that. But boy, it was giving her some kind of Cro-Magnon in there, a little forehead there. Okay, so let's go over to here. Oh, we loaded another copy of this. I don't want that. Thank you. Okay, let's go to, let's find Muppets. These are funny. Let's go through some of these. Okay, I started a few for a crappy advice thing that I was going to do for somebody, kind of in the Elmo style. So we've got some Elmo freaky Muppets here. And, but then, I mean, you get into it and it's like some of them look real, some of the fabric and other things. I mean, you can definitely do some stuff with this. And just, taking these kinds of things and cutting them out and animating them in After Effects or other, applications that you can actually take them and, like I showed you with the Puppet Warp tool, do those kinds of things. Yeah, you can have a lot of fun, and you can do some stuff quickly. You can iterate fast with this. Oh, there's an Elmo-ish looking thing. What's with the? It's like a eye looking at him. A lot of these I haven't even seen, to be perfectly honest. You throw them into a folder and you keep moving. Oh my Lord. Oh, some of these are crazy. And it goes, style-wise, it definitely goes off the reservation. I mean, there's some times where you're looking at this and going, what? I didn't ask for that at all. It just decides, well, I'm bored. I want to do something different. It's almost like an old school drawing from a newspaper. Okay, my little headphone cord there. All right. Some of these are just nutty. But think about, I mean, even iterating puppets, actually making puppets and figuring out what would look best. And, would that armature work? Would this thing, is this effective? Could this be a real puppet? Just setting this thing loose to do 1,000 of them and kind of pick the best 10. You're automatically, I mean, look at this thing. You're automatically doing some really cool stuff. Making the cool puppets, man. Like Orange Digga on Twitter. What's up, Quincy Keith? So yeah, maybe do a few shout outs to some of my pals on Twitter. We do have an NFT crypto bro kind of thing going on. Not really Noom Crad. We're not crypto bros at all. But there is the vibrant art space and NFT space on Twitter, and NFTs being non-fungible tokens. If anybody is not aware of that, who's watching this. So yeah, NFTs are non-fungible tokens. They are hashes, receipts, provenance of digital ownership of an asset on the blockchain. And they will be the way of the future for everything that is digital to have a receipt of, and everything that is physical, they want to have an IoT tag or an RFID/NFC style tag. We are working on both of those with our DigiReal items, and we are doing digital and real assets, real things tied to digital twins, 3D GLB files, and NFTs that represent real things because we like real things. Oh, that's so cute. And I like cute things too sometimes, damn it. I may be mean and cranky, but I like cute things too. I really do. I'm a sucker for our doodles. Oh, look at that. Now, wow, look at that. Okay, so let's pause for a second and investigate here. Wow, that is neat looking. I love that. So, point one, influence. We got the creativity cranked all the way up, and the details only at 100. And what a great graphic style that is. I mean, taking that out, cutting it into Illustrator paths, I mean, breaking that into graphic style could be very, very easy to do. Let's go ahead and get a little more influence on the image. I want to see that image poking through. So we'll cancel that. And again, this is the power of the iteration of the different things, changing the prompts on the fly, making different prompts. Again, I think I'm having some issues maybe with this version of inpainting or the way inpainting works in general in Stable Diffusion. I'm not quite sure. I'm kind of doing this a little bit blind. I'm watching videos as much as I can. But what I'm finding is that what I want out of the masked areas isn't generally happening, but it does. It does happen. I mean, I can't say it hasn't. I could give you examples, but to dig and find might be a little bit of a challenge. Okay, so we're loading that again, and we're generating. So let's see what the next one does. And let's see if I can find... keep going through these Muppets. It's just crazy. I love it. If you can think it, you can do it, right? Okay, so get out of there. And what was I going to find? Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's try. Yeah, so that was not porn, by the way. That was Cristiano. Yeah, just working on, is this the ping file? Oh yeah, spacebar doesn't open it. Yeah, so this is an image. This is an example of an image I've worked on in Stable Diffusion. It's got probably 3 layers of inpainting for different kind of cyborg effects in her neck and chin area, and a couple inpaintings for different flower things. And then, as you can see, her ear is still messed up and all kinds of stuff. And I've actually brought it into Photoshop already and done some fixing to it, but it's on another drive. These are other images that I'm working on fixing up that are, multiple in paints. So they're not just one. And I think I'm getting styles that, I don't believe I've seen from other people, not fully, but again, art is art. So I like what I'm doing. This is a good example of one that, really needed some help. And I definitely have already done some stuff to her in another file, cleaning up her arm, making it more flesh tone, bringing it in, sizing it. Liquify, another great tool in Photoshop that you can use that allows you to easily go ahead and Let me just show you real quick on this. If we go into Liquify, and you know, again, a tablet is invaluable in something like this. We have a friend actually who works for another tablet company that makes standard non-display tablets, and we were going to contact her and see if we could get a hold of her and get some tablets to give out and try and have a couple in the studio to show off too. So Hannah, if you're listening, I'm going to point you to this video. Hi Hannah, how are you? Me. Okay. So yeah, if we go into the Liquify tool, you can see you can take your, come on, bring my size up here. Why are you not sizing me? Supersize me. Huh. Oh, there we go. Okay. I had to select the tool, dummy. Okay. So Liquify, you know, depending on the size you use, you can do wild things with it, and you can make her eyes bigger, make her nose smaller, pull out her lips or her chin, elongate that out, bring her lips back up. Again, when you do things, you are making it your own. So you see there to there. Having the proper tools definitely helps. You know, there are Liquify tools and other things in Procreate. We're going to definitely be covering Procreate. It's a phenomenal program. Has 3D object painting support and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's incredible what it can do. I believe that if you buy an iPad Pro and an Apple Pencil, you should have Forger and Procreate and Nomad Sculpt on your iPad, because that is the future. So, at least in part. But the Adobe Suite, love the Adobe Suite. Hate paying for it, but I love it. So, you know, there's issues. It has problems. I'm having real bad problems with Illustrator lately with some crashes and stuff in macOS, but otherwise it's been running pretty stable. And with things like Adobe Sensei and other stuff in Premiere, I'm working on getting back into that because I was Final Cut Pro for a while, and then I'm doing DaVinci Resolve, and now I'm looking at Premiere because of certain things that it does. So using the tools at your disposal, using the best tools, using the fastest, most productive tools is what you should be doing. And so, you know, something like this, you can just go over to, if you're going to do a quick hack job, you know, like I can take my own images and stuff too, but, you know, human eye in pexels.com, for example, and, you know, let me just grab this for the heck of it. Grab that one. Thank you to Almeda Studio, because we're going to steal your eye. It's better than stealing your face. Okay. Let's see. Go to downloaders. Downloads. Okay. Date added. Oh, that's one I was working on. Come on, get out. That's one I was working on. That's from an old composite of AI from Night Cafe Creator. Excuse me. Okay, so what am I looking for? Downloads. Why am I not finding this? What's going on? I'm looking for pexels. Okay. It's not showing up for some reason. Pexels. Okay. Yeah, so I will load that into Photoshop. And then I have it set for all JPEGs to load in as raw, so I can you know, clean things up, automate it, pull in the colors, give me more blacks, whatever it might be. So now, doing this with a mouse, I'm not going to be good at it, but maybe I can do it with an object tool. So let's try and select the object selection tool. See what I get when I click on the eye. Much better at selecting full object like that. Much better at selecting full objects than it is typically at selecting smaller objects. And I am not aware of a way to improve that besides selecting it manually or doing it with a magic wand and some smoothing and feathering and that kind of stuff. So for expedience sake, we'll just cut it, go over to here and don't save, then paste it, and then let's see my handles. Command T, thank you for handles, show handles. Okay, so here and dupe. All right, so we'll go over here to a blending mode and overlay. What is it? Lighter color. Let's go ahead. Color dodge, no. Let's try. Yeah, that's pretty nice. I like that. Make that right there. And one easy way to just do this if you were going to really rush it is you go filter, contract, and let's go 6. Filter. Sorry, modify. Feather 3. And then invert it and cut. And that gives you a little bit more of a clean edge, but you can see it definitely needs cleaning up. But if you look, already a heck of a lot more realistic. And then we can look and change that too. Let's see. You try different blending modes. You might have to remove the white from the eyes or different things like that. But when you find something you want that works, it changes it dramatically. So you can see that just from that one eye to the other eye, you're getting a dramatic difference. And then when you come in here and you can do things like grabbing the, what the hell's the name of that? Grabbing, I forget all the names of stuff. Mixer brush tool. We grab the mixer brush tool and you can go in here and move to something like this. Let's go. Grab that. So you go in here and you go grab your color and you can actually mix and pull and make things better just by mixing them together. So again, Wacom tablet, tablet, any tablet, a pen. You can use your iPad Pro. Actually, if you have a Macintosh, you can use your iPad or your iPad Pro with Sidecar, and you could actually use an Apple Pencil and do that kind of thing. It's not as latency free as some of the other solutions, and actually using a real full-blown Wacom tablet, touch tablet or something like that. But it does get the job done. So that's one way to do it. And well, the camera must have gone to some kind of auto setting. So it turned off again. Hold on just a second. Right here. Let's just go there. All right, now we're back. Yay. Okay. So I'm on the other one over here. Hi. And that camera is a little not positioned well either. But let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and take a break just for a couple minutes, guys, and, do stuff, and I will be right back. Okay. Thank you for indulging my little break. So yeah, we've got this. Oh, I moved it somehow. Okay. That's weird. Okay, there we go. Okay, we could do the same thing, just by duplicating the layer and bring it over here and flipping it. Transform. A lot of these things I'm going to set up with my new loop deck to do things that are not currently set up with hotkeys to do. So again, just changing those eyes right there made all the difference in the world for an image to be able to be more passable. But then again, cleaning the image up, getting all the sharp edges. You can also there are sharpening. But one of the other things I wanted to show you, if you are into Photoshop, is there is a brush pack that you can get for Photoshop for free that is called, do I have them here? No, ZBrushes, okay. I downloaded that on the Studio Hackintosh and not on my MacBook Pro, so let's go ahead and do it. Why not? So let's go, and it's Adobe 2022 Brush Pack. Download exclusive brushes from Kyle T. Webster. That's who it was, Kyle. Shout out to Kyle Webster on YouTube. He's works with Adobe in some capacities, and he put out a new release of brushes that we're going to download right now and load into Adobe Photoshop. So we'll go ahead and go here and click our button, and as you can see, we will go to import brushes, and actually we need to go out real quick, back to our Finder, go to Downloads, List, Date Added, and there we go, Fall 2022 ABR. Okay, so they are loaded, so we'll go over to here, back to Photoshop, and the nice thing I like about Macs is you can do this, grab, tap, drop, and it will select those brushes and import them. So once you have those brushes imported, you can go down here and you can see Fall 2022. We can rename it Kyle's Adobe Brushes. Okay. And if you see here, we've got all kinds of brushes, including, oh, you know what? That is not the pack. Huh. That's not Kyle's full pack. Wonder why. Okay, let's go to here. That's the Fall 2022 brush. Oh, Mega Pack. There we go. Mega Pack. Sorry, pardon me. It's the Mega Pack. It'll be in the show notes for sure. But there's dry media brushes, watercolor, spatter, effects brushes, gouache, manga brushes. You can download all of these if you're on the Adobe Creative Suite program. And these allow you to do all kinds of different things. Instead of spending time building brushes, you can actually use them. So go ahead and look at that. It's downloading. We've almost done there. Go back to Photoshop and import our brushes again. And then we go to Finder and we see that we've got this one. So we go back to Photoshop. Whoops. Back to Photoshop. Drag and drop. Oh, didn't get it again. Okay. There we go. And open. Now we have Kyle's brushes. Or the Mega Pack anyway. That's what we're looking for. So we're looking for FX brushes. There we go. FX box. So we have a nice one in here I wanted to show you. There we go. Sharpen edges. And if you see here, we've got sharpen edges and add grain is what it's called. So sharpen edges and add grain. It's a really nice brush. You know, people have all kinds of different brushes that they use. But if you see here, go grab that. Grab the brush tool, mixer brush, and then grab this and bring the size down to something manageable. And you can see how this really will sharpen edges and get things really nice. Let's go ahead and actually increase the size a little bit on that. You see how it can really sharpen out the areas a little bit more and bring some of that in. Now, again, you know, on my tablet, I'm going to be painting over this. I'm going to be adding layers. I'm going to be maybe making, you know, lip textures and other things to make this better. But you can see just with the brush, with sharpening it a little bit, you know, it adds cleanliness to it that wasn't there before. And then the same thing goes with blur brushes and different things like that, is that the brushes that you use are going to be highly determinant on how, you know, good they make things look and how realistic or whatever, you know, you're looking for. You need to use the proper brushes and really go in there and tweak things out and make things better. You know, like with the hair, you can go in here and sharpen some of the hair highlights as well to make them pop more. And you can see, you know, right there, we just popped those highlights out more. We can actually make the brush even bigger. And you can see how I'm cleaning up that edge and sharpening it with a little almost highlight, and the difference it makes. So all of these techniques and everything, we're going to be definitely covering more as we go along. We've been going for 2 hours and 45 minutes so far, just showing different things, and I barely have scratched the surface of what it is that we can do with these tools. Again, let's just go real quick and kind of see where we are with Midjourney on our fish. And, you know, we're making some interesting little creatures here. I usually take these out, cut them out, and make them more fishy looking. We've got parts and pieces we can pull together. Again, when we iterate these and we take them further, you know, find a particular one that we like that, yeah, like see, these are really starting to look interesting. Starting to look like some kind of alien fish. Like right there, that's pretty neat. So we could vary these, you know, say these two, vary 3 and 4. And then we're gonna run the same prompt with that one, and then we'll run tropical fish. We'll run, let's say tropical electric eel. And let's see what that does. Let's take the stylized down to 22,111. Okay, so we got to do 111. And again, you know, playing, iterating, finding different things, finding parts of images that you can pull out and do things with and make worlds of your own and make things your own. Taking this part, flipping it around, duplicating it, doing symmetry, finding patterns in things, and making patterns with Illustrator or Photoshop. Bringing them into Cinema and Blender and using them as texture maps, doing seamless tiles. You know, again, we've not even covered that. Look at this. Ooh, man, her eyes are messed up, huh? She's got the VR on her head. All kinds of crazy things are going on here. What's going on? So we cranked up that creativeness a little too high. Let's take it down to 16.5. Why not? We'll stop that. And again, this is, you know, it's babysitting, it's checking, it's looking, seeing where things are going. Again, we'll go back to here. See where we are in the, you know, all this stuff. We didn't get anything usable there. weird forehead girl. That's interesting. And that one's kind of cool. I really like the hair on that. See the hair on that, but then, you'd have to bring the forehead down to right here to make it look realistic. And then, of course, mess with this if you didn't want it so exaggerated. Another interesting shot that actually looks like an actress from Travelers that we've been watching. It's kind of cool. You never know where they're pulling this stuff from, too. You get lips and faces, and you say, that seems familiar, and it probably is. At least the representation of it. Now, that's cool. That is really neat. I like that a lot. So much could be done with that image. Again, I'd probably mess with this or replace the VR headset entirely because it's not very good. But look at in there and in there. Her ear needs to be pulled in more to match this one and made smaller. But that's great. That's really nice. You could do a lot with that image. I like the little hoodie thing she's got on with the collar and everything too. It's really cool. So it's kind of like, wow, look at that. Look at those eyes. But look at that face. Just amazing. And that hair, crazy. The dress, wild. I love it. Very cool. And again, this, I'm hoping this gives you an idea of how things are iterated, the kind of concepts you can get, the creative scales. We didn't mess with too many things in the interface as far as like the, where the hell did it go? The PLMS, where'd it go? That's friggin' weird. Resolution, seed, maybe because it's running. Oh gosh, look at that. Wow. Beautiful. And I do guys and girls, but amazing, really cool. It just gives you so many ways to start and change, and that's cool. But see, the eyes are messed up, but the rest of it's not bad. So again, AI art. Let's see. Finish this off with a little philosophizing, why don't we? I know there's a lot of artists out there that are worried. They're scared of AI art, and some of them have a right to be. I think that because of where you work and because of the things that you do, some of the stuff that you do may be able to be replaced by AI art. And there's a lot of middle managers and a lot of people who are not creatively, inspired, who are working at companies, big and small, who would rather type something into a GAN real quick, get an image, and settle for it than pay an artist. So there are things that are going to impact artists and creators around the world because of this technology. You're going to have to get better, more creative, tell better stories in your imagery and in your storytelling, build experiences. These are powerful tools that are being unleashed on the world en masse. Last month alone, Stable Diffusion was downloaded 750,000 times on the Hugging Face website. And that doesn't include all the probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of downloads of things like Wombo Dream and now the new Midjourney and those kinds of apps. So we have, at a bare minimum, a few million people easy around the world doing AI art. And you want to make sure that the stuff that you're creating has legs and can stand on its own and isn't just the same old, same old. And again, you can see we're getting a tremendous variation of styles and different kinds of looks, things that we can use, but they all share consistencies. They all share the same soft colors, the same soft gradations, soft lines where there should be hard lines where there should be soft lines. The AI is not an artist. I think that's the point. That's kind of the whole thing to look at. Boy, don't say Chris.
The idea of all of these GANs and what they're doing in pulling metadata out and ripping images apart and reassembling them based on your prompts and all of these other things, and then serving that pixel data to you in the form of an image or video, whatever it may be, you don't have any control over lots of aspects of it, but you do. And it's a game you play with the GAN. So, when you find something that, say out of 100 images that you really, really like, you like the style, you like the look, the whatever, you can use, or 2 or 3 or 4 of them, you could use that as concept images and start making concepts. So again, we're rendering here, so I don't want to stop it. But if we load a concept, we can go over real quick. Let's do that for the final few minutes. Let's run over some concepts in Hugging Face. So thanks again to Pexels for the Creative Commons images. And we got those Adobe brushes. Okay, what was I going to do again? Mid-Journey. And we're going to look at, for the final thing, Lord, Mid-Journey. Yes, I remember. Stable Diffusion concepts. Hugging Face. Diffusion concepts library. Okay. So yeah, we'll go over this real quick. I'm not exactly sure I'm using these right and that the files are pathed properly, because I've gotten some good results and I've gotten some bad, so I'm not sure. I think I'm doing it right. The styles, so we have models here. So you can see these concepts library like Mystical Nature, Miyano Tomochika, Bruma, Command and Conquer, Masianya, Kirby, Pascal Cibertine. So we take a look at this, and this is Hosted Inference API. You can see this is the concept taught to Stable Diffusion via textual inversion. So textual inversion is the concept of training the GAN in a concept on images that you want it to use as kind of its inference. I'm inferring that I want you to do a pencil-drawn manga look, or I'm inferring that I want you to do a photorealistic architecture look. So these are some of the styles that this particular concept is able to pull out, a little more drawn styles. And this one's a little more all over the map. I don't know why that. The styles tend to be more consistent. Let's see. No model card. Okay, that's a new one. Let's see. What's that one? Okay, these aren't very good. I've seen better ones. And then, of course, the Dream Booth ones where, you're actually able to train it and get stability out of. So those are the models. Those are the data sets. Yeah, so those are organization card, concepts library. Yeah, and so you can also go here. And we'll put this in the show notes as well. You can run Stable Diffusion with all the concepts loaded and kind of get an example on the website itself of what your prompt might look like with different concepts loaded, but it doesn't even seem to be working right now for some reason. I know very odd. Thinking maybe if I go to Chrome. Oh, there it is. Oh, finally loaded. Okay, that took a while. Okay. So what did I do? Go back. Okay, I'm hanging here. Let's not do that. Okay, so yeah, you can go here to this huggingface.com, huggingface.co, excuse me, slash sd-concepts-library. And this has the link to the Stable Diffusion conceptualizer, which allows you to select concepts, styles, if you will, and apply them to a prompt of your choice and generate a small image of it to kind of take a look and see what you want to see. And then if you go to, let's go ahead and sort these by most downloads. And let's see, like Lavco. Okay, so Lavco is doing like a lion concept. I have no idea why that's the most downloaded. We have really not. I've found some good ones, but I don't know why I can't find them now. Cat toy. Yeah, see that. Are these the most downloaded? Really? No. Most downloads. Let's see, most likes. Let's try that. Yes. Style. Tokomoro. Okay, so yeah, you got like an anime style here, and the idea is that if you load your prompt with this concept loaded, that you're going to get an anime style. So we have, I believe, loaded that one to the that's Waifu Diffusion. We have loaded that one to the GAN, and oh, look at that! How cool! Very pretty. So, okay, that's starting over. So we could go ahead and load a concept to show you, for example. Oh, helps to have this on. I'm going like, oh, cool, look at this. Gotta get this Stream Deck switcher working. Okay, yeah, that was neat. Really, it's just some amazing output. I'm constantly in awe of what you can generate with this thing. I mean, look how pretty that is. So cool. Okay, so yeah, so if we load a concept here, let's see. We've got styles. Oh, wait, I'll go back. Doop. Downloaded styles. So let's do Cyberpunk Lucy and just load this and see what happens. So we load the bin file, and we'll take down the influence of the init image a little bit more so that we can see, hopefully, the concept come through. And I'm going to learn how to make my own concepts because that's awesome, definitely. Render out some different things and do some artwork and whatever, my cartoon style. I do have a cartooning style. So doing stuff like that, really cool. It's a nuclear bomb. I mean, that's what I've said before. I don't know how to describe it otherwise. I went through the SGI revolution. I went through the dinosaurs. I went through all of that. I used the computers that were this big. That was a paradigm shift. It absolutely was. And I was in heaven. I mean, 95 to 2000, 2001, before everything crashed, I was absolutely loving it. New graphics cards every day, new software every day, definitely shades of now, except nuclear bomb. This is a complete game changer. You have a musician who can feed his lyrics in and find imagery that matches it. And artists are going to have to redefine themselves. They are. I wonder, I would absolutely love to know how this guy would feel about it. Because Bob Ross, rest in peace, would be out of a job, I believe. I really do. Come on. Let's think about it. All right, so we are close. We're going to end the show. We've gone a few minutes over, but we're going to end the show by seeing what this style, this concept was able to do. And see, nothing. Damn it. It did not give us the style. So something is wrong. So what I'm thinking is that, no, don't cancel that. What I'm thinking is that I've got something going on where I need to put, like, see, all these styles are in the bin here, and then right here, come on, we've got objects. So I don't know where, because if you look at the downloaded styles, and I'm going to have to find this out. I'm definitely going to have to find somebody smarter than me to help me. That won't be hard. Example concepts, right. So if we go into our downloaded styles and you take a look at this, in the folder, we have a concept images folder. And so that's where those concept images are that the concept, that the textual inversion was trained on, and that I'm sure that the bin file paths to, but I don't know how. So I'll be trying to find that out, because that's really powerful too. I mean, you know, if I can get this to work, I'm going to love it, because just taking something like, you know, taking something like one of these images and turning it anime style, or turning it, you know, 3D transformer style, or whatever it might be. Cool beans. So I would like to thank everybody for coming today. We have gone through a lot of different AI stuff. We were all over the map. We were just playing, kind of showing you different things. We definitely want to have some structured stuff. We're going to have some really interesting things going on the website. We do have a Discord server. I am not a huge fan of Discord, but I'm learning it and I'm dealing with it, because it is definitely something that we're going to have to work with. You can do live chats and live video, and there's uses for it. So we're going to have a Discord server. It's going to be by invite only. We're going to keep control over that and not have all kinds of bots and crazy people in there that we don't know. So we're going to start doing some cool AI collaborations. We're going to do some work with people, but it's not just AI. We want to push the envelope on this. We want to do different things. Bring these in, do 3D modeling, composite with different stuff. I've got a bunch of artwork that I am doing that I will be glad to show everybody as we're going along. I'll be working on it. We'll be doing some theory room stuff. We will be showing you how to create great things. We want you to create great stuff. We want you to want more and want better for yourself. And we are working to build a professional community, a professional society that takes care of its members. So again, thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate your time. And we hope that if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or anything else, that you please feel free to get a hold of us. God bless. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we will see you on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time or in Twitter Spaces. Peace out, Rainbow Trout.